Chat, this is bullshit. Why are there no crows or ravens? Why are there no crows or ravens emotes? Why? Alright, 1 second. I was too busy jamming to the music. I'm not ready at all. Hold up. Alright. Sing. A ling and ding. Down there. Mike. Mike. Monday. It's just another manic Monday. Should I close that? Nah, it's fine. Wish it was Sunday. That's my fun day. Yesterday was kind of fun. I spent all day making pumpkin puree, basically. What layer is that on? There it is. Okay. Back at it again. With the ponies. Okay, I need to make that message. Today's fan art. I need to pin that. What today's fan art is and any content warning. Today's fan art. If I can spell it right. Cask. That's not how you spell it. Cask of Appletillado. I'm just gonna put SP because I don't know how to spell it. Cask of Appletillado. What? Oh God, I don't even know who wrote. I am so unprepared. Anyway, content warnings. Blood. And I think, yeah, art-wise, that's all that is. That's all there is. Boom. And pin. Manually. There we go. Hooray! I would like, you know what, I should look up, for the VOD, I'll post in the description who the author was for this for this story, because mwah, it is so good. It is of course, if you can tell by the name, it is a parody of the, God, is it Poe? Who wrote? Anyway, yeah, it's a parody of the Cask of Amontillado, which is a horror story about two friends that have not really a troubled history, but one, it keeps making fun of the other, I guess, and the other guy finally had enough, and he said, hey, come to my cellar, I got this really old vintage alcohol, Amontillado, and then we'll have a drink together. And then when they get there, he walls his friend up in the cellar. And then he just leaves him there. Now, for this version, hang on, I'm trying to edit canvas size. No, I'll just do it in the... I'll do it in post. For this version, Cask of Appletillado, or Appletillado, I'm not sure. I mean, despite listening and reading the creepypasta. I can't for the life of me remember exactly what it's called. Anyway, for this version, it's slightly different because instead of, you know, Applejack just walling up Rarity in the cellar just because, in this version, I think Applejack has more of a reason. I keep hiccuping. I'm trying not to. Has more of a reason to do that to Rarity, and in the story, it makes it's still bad, but at least it's a more justifiable reason for doing it instead of just, oh my god, I wish they would shut up. This was, no, the family was on hard times, and Rarity took advantage of Big Mac. And it did not end well. I absolutely love this story because if you notice, most of my favorite creepypastas, especially the fan creepypastas, actually, yeah, the reason why I love these MLP pastas more than most of the others is because these ones, the ones that particularly get me, are the ones where I'm sitting here listening to it, like, yeah, this is 100% in their characters to act like this. I think the only thing that was completely out of character for the story is the fact that Rarity would even look at Big Mac, and the fact that Big Mac would even look at Rarity. She's not his type. But hey, that's part of it's just part of the story. I think I'll give her eyebrows this time again. I don't know why. It's just in the sketch, so I thought, you know what the hell. So they were jests and meaning nothing more. Maybe to you. They still keep to the spirit of, you know, Applejack has had enough of Rarity's insults and jests at her poor upbringing. But that wasn't the only reason, you know. The horror aspect of this one is very minimal because it is a reference to Cask of Amontillado, and it was mostly just dialogue heavy, which is fine. They make it work. It's not particularly scary. It's not scary at all. I just like it because it's very well written, and I actually prefer this version over the original Cask of Amontillado. Even though I don't think I actually read Cask of Amontillado. I'm sorry, I'm a fake Poe fan. How do I draw her eyelashes? Hang on, let me bring up my other Applejack art. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here. Oh, shit! Oh! Hold up. Squizzy. I forgot. There we go. Background music. How is it? Is it loud enough? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. As long as it doesn't get any louder. We should be good. MLP. Artwork. Sunset at Apple. Oh, that's what I did. That's what I done did. Alright, let's be consistent. There, down, and okay. One thing I love about Edgar Allan Poe and the way he writes horror, it's from the perspective of the protagonist, which in some cases is the person committing these atrocities. Especially with like The Mark or The Black Cat. It's from the perspective of the person who's going to commit the murder. Or like a Telltale Heart isn't quite in a good example of what I'm about to say, but it is again from the perspective of the murderer. But the like for The Black Cat and like The Mark, or was it called The Mark or The Birthmark? I don't remember. But and Cask of Amontillado, I think part of Poe's horror when it comes to writing from their perspective is just how calm they are. Or how they'll commit like a murder and then they're surprisingly calm about it. Not calm to the fact like, oh, shoot, I'm gonna get caught. But they're calm to the like, oh, they don't like reflect on what they've done. The fact that they've just killed someone. And I think that is just, oof. That's good horror. Because it's not like, oh no, what have I done? Oh, I gotta hide the evidence or they'll... It's like, oh, I killed them. Well, I should probably dispose of the body. It's like, huh? Huh? Or, like, because, like, in this one, Cask of Appletillado, Applejack is mostly... Now, she does get upset when she yells at Rarity. But she doesn't even yell at Rarity. Well, I mean, it may be in the dialogue she does. But she's completely calm as she's adding the bricks and mortar while Rarity is chained to the adjacent wall. That's too thin. It's like, why are you doing this to me, Applejack? Why? Why indeed? Why'd you do it, Rares? Why did you do it? I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about! You know exactly what I'm talking about. Is that too much? No, I think it... well, it's a little big, but yeah, we'll shrink it, we'll shrink it. This stream might be a little shorter because this art piece is very easy to do. So, I think when we finish here, I'm going to... do something I haven't done before. I'm going to split the VOD into for the stream into two things, maybe. Like if we finish this art piece and it's barely an hour, I have other things that I can work on. I just realized I have 6 illustrations on these fall illustrations that I could get. I mean, I could get started on the sketch for this one. But, oh, excuse me. I'm gonna purposefully cut the piece where I don't have to include her hat. Sorry, AJ, your hat baffles me. Okay. Yep, that's a good one. Another thing you will notice with my favorite creepypastas is most of them involve Applejack. She is best pony, and I will not be hearing anyone arguing to the contrary. Is that too much? Hang on. Let's see what it looks like with just that. Okay, yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That was a bit much. Oh, I should put this back just in case. Our Miss Rarity. Having fake eyelashes. How jagged was the edge? I know Applejack broke Rarity's horn when knocking her out. Can't have you matching your way out of here. But it doesn't say, like, how jagged. Oh. Random side tangent, but I keep seeing it a lot. Because 'tis the season, and it is October, and Halloween is, like, literally next week. Or wait, no, it's not. No, wait, it is. Halloween is next week. I'm seeing a lot of people draw fan art of their own favorite creepypastas. What and where can I find the creepypasta called The Experiments of Twilight Sparkle? Because it's the one everyone draws fan art for when they draw, like, the main 6 together for their respective pastas. That looks bad. And it's the one everyone always draws. Very recently have I seen people draw Diary of a Time Looper, or Downfall, which is my favorite. Actually, no, my favorite Twilight creepypasta is kind of a weird tie. It's a 3-way tie between Downfall, Forever Faithful, and Diary of a Time Looper. Because all of them are almost entirely in character. Or it's one of those things like, you know what, this kind of does seem like an exaggerated quality that would get Twilight in this situation. My headcanon is that Forever Faithful is a sequel to Downfall. Because in Downfall, Twilight gets curious on what it would feel like to kill another pony. And it literally drives her insane until she finally does it. And then she's just, oh my god, what have I done? That was terrible, why did I do it? And then it showed, like, her descent into psychosis of, oh my god, they all know. They all know. They're all looking at me weird. Why are they looking at me? Everyone stop looking at me. Do they know? Do I have to kill to keep my secret? I'll do it again. And it just becomes like intrusive thoughts. It also shows, like, yeah, the power of intrusive thoughts, which I am currently struggling with a lot of very bad intrusive thoughts, guys. And I'm only saying intrusive thoughts because that's the only explanation I have for what the heck is going on in my little mind. So I relate to Twilight in that regard. And then Forever Faithful is Twilight has died and she's still sending letters to Celestia. And it's about her figuring out the afterlife and how she created her own version of Ponyville. And it was, hey, it's great here. No one gets tired. No one is hungry. We never run out of energy. We can be together all the time. I'm going to bring my friends here. And it's just, oh my god, she's going to kill them. It's like in the span of an hour. I'm going to try and draw this as accurately as possible. Because I did use a reference photo for the sketch. But I didn't add it to my library. For whatever reason. Every pony's saying you should learn to express your voice, but I've talked and like it's the answer. Luckily you have a choice. Find you've got the music in you. Find you've got the music in you. Got the music in you. Oh, ah, oh, ah. Should I have their eyes level? Okay, now that's center. Now, my favorite hack, and it does make me feel like a hack whenever I do this, for working on textures that you just don't want to draw yourself, get a picture of the thing, copy, paste, expand. There you go. Brick wall. Now, I will be rendering over this, so I'll just be using this as a little thing to work over to help me keep the lines all in order. Oh, I should save, where is save as, pictures, not the pastas, my art, MLP, here we go. Cask. And it's saved. What the hell? Oh, my cat's using the scratching post. Okay, rarity isn't solid white. Why is that a clipping mask? seen a lot of people draw fan art for the story Friendship is Tragic. And I'm like, hey, should I listen to that? All I know about it is that it's apparently very sad, and I'm not sure I want to deal with that. Hi, Dargoris. Returned to ponies. Last stream I went completely non-verbal, but I got that art piece done, so. Okay, now. Rarities, okay, yeah, they're blue. And some. Light. The picture I got is... Oh, her eyeshadow. Don't forget her eyeshadow. Chat, remind me, I can't forget Rarity's eyeshadow. There we go. Since she is crying, I'm gonna add just a little... Ooh, that's the wrong color. Just a little bit of... Yeah. I kind of also want to do fan art for another creepypasta called Steep Learning Curve, but I don't have any illustrations for it yet. And the real bitch of this whole thing is, I was supposed to live stream today. You know, I'm live streaming right now. Count your lucky stars I decided to show up today, because I just found out those bastards. Okay, do y'all remember, or have you even heard of the internet series called Marble Hornets? I gave like 2 people PTSD just by saying that. By saying that name. Not PTSD, but you know, like flashbacks for saying that name. Well, those boys got together and made a mini-series after almost 20 years now of radio silence, because the Marble Hornet series ended like years ago. What is Rarity's hair color? Okay, yeah. And this series that they made, the new mini-series, came out a month ago. And this is the first I've heard of it. I was like, you jerks! Why'd no one tell me? And now I'm just, god dang it. Now I have to go live in 30 minutes. Why'd you tell me that there's a mini-series out now? That's 4 episodes. That's the wrong way. That's 4 episodes. Ah! So as soon as stream is over, if I finish early, I am immediately watching that. But I can't get too locked into that new series because we're having enchiladas tonight, and I have to prepare the meat. Well, the meat's already prepared. I just gotta prepare everything else. Pink. Okay, wait, no, I don't have that. But their tongues are more orange. There we go. And white for her teeth. Okay. That down, and now we do the fun bit. I'm going to use the... Should I use the airbrush or the watercolor for her mascara? Because the sketch here... Because when... Rarity when she cries is so funny because every time she cries it's like, oh, my life is ruined. And then it's just rivers of black running down her face and it's so funny. So, okay, I'm gonna use a bit of watercolor, smudge, and the airbrush. Alright. Where's... Smoosh. Oh, that made it worse somehow. Fastest Control Z in the West. And just a little bit of black. Maybe I'll just use the blur. Yeah, the blur tool would be better. And just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And then on top, I'll draw like the tears in her eyes, and then it's going to hee hee hee. Now we get to the blurred. So if you're sensitive to blood, clear out. Here we go. How am I today? I am okay. It's Monday, so, you know. It rained yesterday, so that was good. Enjoyed that. I'm going to also draw over the line art. I gotta remember, when things drip, they pool at the bottom, towards center of gravity. So actually, a drip would look like this. Something like that. What is this story about? This story, the cast of Appletillado, is a My Little Pony parody of the old Edgar Allan Poe story, Cast of Amontillado. And it is very well done, featuring the titular characters of Rarity and Applejack. following the age-old tradition in any, My Little Pony creepypasta, where Rarity always dies. Okay, not always. Sometimes she doesn't, but it seems like no idea what that is. Well, it's old American horror literature. Edgar Allan Poe is basically the father of modern creepypastas. Like, we owe our entire craft to him and how he wrote his stories. Honestly, I should put these on the same layer, but I don't want it to overflow with the eye. So all the blood up here is going to be above the line art, while the blood down here is going to be under. I'm fairly certain Cask of Amontillado was written by Edgar Allan Poe. I could be completely wrong. Fact checkers, be sure to crucify me in the comments. I'm pretty sure Poe didn't write the birthmark. That was someone else, though. We studied it in American Lit. So I'm not surprised that you haven't heard of it, Dardoris. I mean, there's no way you could have heard of Cask of Amontillado. But if you like creepypastas, I genuinely suggest giving him a listen. You can find audiobooks to all his stuff on YouTube. So it's a parody of an American creepy... Well, yeah. Creepypasta before creepypastas were a thing. So I explained it earlier in the live stream, but I can say it again. Cask of Amontillado is a story about these two friends. One has a penchant for casually, making jokes about the other friend's heritage and family. And main character has had enough of it. So he invites his friend over to say, hey, I found this rare, alcohol in my cellar. Let's have a drink together, shall we? And when it comes down, it's like, come drink some Amontillado with me. When it goes down to the cellar, there's nothing there. And then whack! He gets hit in the head, chained to a wall, and walled up in the cellar. Because the friend has had enough of his insults. In the My Little Pony version, Applejack is sick of Rarity's jabs and insults about her heritage. And she could handle it she could handle it mostly, but the final injury that she had suffered from Rarity was when, in the story, Granny Smith had died, and Big Mac was very upset about it. He and Rarity got drunk. They share a night. Big Mac thinks he finally found someone who could love and hold him. Rarity laughs in his face, basically breaks his heart, and... spoilers, but Big Mac does not take it well. Then they find his body in the barn. And Applejack has had enough of Rarity. Like, why'd you do it, Rares? I love the way Lost Narrator said that line, because Lost Narrator is usually the voice actors for Applejack in all these pastas, and I love the way she does. I love her voice, the way she does Applejack. It's very fun for me to imitate, because I can do a southern accent pretty well. So main character just killed the friend because they made fun of them. Isn't that a bit over? Well, yeah, that's part of the horror for Edgar Allan Poe. The main character is crazy, but it's from their perspective, so they don't see themselves as crazy. Like in A Telltale Heart, the main character was batshit crazy, but it was from it was written from his perspective, so he didn't think he was crazy. He thought it was a completely sane and normal thing to do, to fantasize about killing an old, an old man who's taking care of you because you don't like his defects, because he was blind in one eye, and it gave you the ick, and you think, I have to kill him to make that eye go away, and I'll lock his heart. I'll lock him in the floorboards. You know? That's part of the horror. It's like into the mind of a killer. And I think that's why Edgar Allan Poe is such a good horror writer, especially back in the day. Like back in the day, that was horror was still like is in the come up. It was written like, like diary entries, so it felt kind of, it was like no sleep radio on, it was like no sleep on Reddit before the internet was even a thing. Now, some of Edgar Allan Poe's stories are scary in the fact that it's a strange thing that is happening, but The Raven I don't think is that scary, because I know ravens have the ability, they have the intelligence, but with certain modifications, ravens have the ability to talk. So in the story The Raven, when the sky opens a window and a raven flies in and says the word nevermore to every question the main character asks the raven, because he just thinks it's a good idea to ask the raven about life and death and whatnot, and the raven just says nevermore. So it's kind of funny. It's like, oh my god, this was considered horror back in the day. We've become kind of desensitized to it. But it's still, for what it is and for what it was, very well done. Like, he walked so we could run, you know? Well, Dardoris, if all that sounds normal to you, maybe you have something to talk about with your therapist in your next session. I mean, sure, I've thought about putting someone's head through a wall because they pissed me off, but not because they had a physical defect. But like, oh, that's part of the scaries. Ooh. March into the floorboard, beats for learn more, nevermore. I can't explain just how it feels. The thoughts of my premature burial inside this sublime box I lie, with the hopes of being buried alive. If you haven't heard the band Creature Feature, You're not, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing in this day and age where we don't know? What band? It's called Creature Feature. Hang on, let me write it up. Creature. I'm running out of room. Feature. That's the name of the band. Their most popular song is called The Greatest Show Unearthed. So, you've probably heard it. If you're in the horror genre, like, side of the internet at all, you've probably heard their music. Or something like A Gory Demise. My favorite song from them is Buried Alive, because it's kind of like a love letter to the horror genre, especially in novels. A lot of people also really like Aim for the Head, which is a song about zombies. Yay! It's okay if you've never heard of them. I just, you know, I'm kind of sad and I'm sick and tired of being the only person who's heard of things. Because, like, even in, when I was growing up, I was like, hey guys, have you heard of this band? And literally everyone was like, who? Never heard of them. It's like, oh. Well, here's them. I'm like, cool. And then just move on. It's like, have you heard the new Taylor Swift album? It's like, okay. I'm in this crowd. I am going to color the line art just because her shadow! Her eyeshadow. Chat, why didn't you remind me? That's the wrong layer. There we go. I was also one of the few kids in my, not just in my class, but in my school, really, that's how small of a school I went to, that, you know, would read books that were outside of my, quote, reading level. So I was reading all sorts of things while my classmates were reading, like, I wasn't like other kids, you know. While everyone else was reading like Harry Potter or The Hunger Games, I was reading like Edgar Allan Poe and Brian Jacques, you know, distinguished writers. God, teenage me would be if I met teenager me today, I would not be able to stand her. Especially junior high me. It's like, oh my god. You're cool, but you're not that cool, okay? Chill out. But, hey, that's the part of growing up. If you look back at your old self and cringe, it's just proof that you've matured as a person. This background's gonna take me like 5 years to do, maybe, so I'm gonna move on and do Applejack real quick, and then we can spend like 5 years on just bricks. But I don't read, so... It's funny, I used to read all the time growing up. Now, I haven't sat down and finished a book in almost a year. The last book I read and finished was The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. And that's a children's book. I feel so bad. But, you know, as an adult, you know, I got shit I gotta do. What pose should you draw? Draw a Sailor Moon pose. You know the one. Maybe you know the one. I don't know. Do kids know about Sailor Moon nowadays? It's okay, Applejack, if you have different colored eyes and every single piece I draw you in is okay. Seriously though, do kids nowadays know about Sailor Moon? Sailor Moon! Oh no! Oh no! I'm old! I didn't even watch Sailor Moon when I was a kid because we didn't have cable. That's why I don't know about things. I grew up poor! I know about the references though. It's an anime! Oh no, I'm old. If you just type up a Sailor Moon pose, you'll see what I mean. Excuse me while I go cry in the corner now. You just don't watch it. I've never watched an episode of Sailor Moon either. I just know the poses because literally everyone draws their characters in Sailor Moon poses. Actually, no. Everyone draws their characters in JoJo poses, and I hate JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't know. Is that controversial to say? Hot take. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, mid-anime. Mid. Not interested at all. I don't care what anybody says. I ain't watching it. I'm not gonna force myself to sit down and stomach that god-awful art style. That, no offense, here's the reason why I don't like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The anime style, the style, no offense to the artist, it looks like bad yaoi. And I don't know if it doesn't have any of that in it. I don't care. Yes, I am judging a show by the art style. What? What of it? Okay, so Applejack can have darker eyes since she's feeling a very dark emotion. Your friend forces you to watch it? Oh, God bless. Is it one of those things where once you get past the art style, it's not that bad? Or is it just one of those things where you're like, people like this? This is popular? Yeah, I don't mean to, you know... Here's the thing. I can get over an art style, but only if I like it. That's so petty. It sounds petty, but that's the thing. It's entertainment. It's all personal preference, and that's my personal preference. I just don't like the way it looks. That's why I haven't seen the story Death Note. I don't care if people say it's peak anime. It's just not my cup of tea. Hey, you saw the Sailor Moon pose, don't know if you want to draw it. Yeah, that's fine. It's just the first thing that came to my head when you asked what pose. I was like, Sailor Moon. But I mean, of course, I say all this with love. You know, like what you want to like. No one can say otherwise, blah de blah de blah, free will and all that jazz. Please don't get your panties in a twist. Anytime someone doesn't like something that you like, or does like something that you don't like, okay? We don't all have to be the same thing, okay? There are several My Little Pony episodes explaining why being unique is beautiful and how friends support each other, but that doesn't mean we have to have the same hobbies, okay? A children's program taught me that. Basic common sense taught me that. Can we have some of that, please, or is it too expensive? I know, in this economy, I don't mean to sound like a liberal snowflake woke left, but can we please show each other some basic kindness? Is that too much to ask? If they're literally not hurting anyone, just shut up. Now, if they are hurting people, you report to the authorities. And if the authorities do nothing, then we can go vigilante. And just expose them for what they've done. You know? Like Roblox. It's not that complicated. My Little Pony is the book by which you guide your life. Well, it's not my Bible. It's not my Torah. But anytime someone, and I always reference it anytime an adult is acting, you know, when adults act like they need to write a letter to Princess Celestia, I'm like, okay guys, come on. Children know this, so what's your excuse? So it's more like, hey, come on guys, let's act like adults here. Oh. I just realized. Okay, a 33. No, 32. But I mean, My Little Pony does have some very good lessons in there. Same with Steven Universe. I know it's just a silly show about colorful ponies and rocks from outer space, but they've got some very good lessons in there, you know? Like Bluey. Very good lessons about life and just how to be kind. And understanding and friendship. I know it sounds corny, but being kind is not corny. It's like the bare minimum of what we can be. And I'm tired of people treating it like it isn't. No, I need to be on the right layer. There we go. Peppa Pig. I've actually never seen Peppa Pig. All I know is that a lot of kids got British accents from watching Peppa Pig, and I thought that was so funny. The reason why I bring up Bluey is because last week we were visiting my sister, and my niece really likes Bluey. And she was watching it, so we were watching it with her, and it was just so cute. speaking of friendship, this artwork of revenge and killing your friends is coming along nicely. Alright, I'm gonna color that. I'm not sure what the color is supposed to be. I think it's brown. I don't remember the exact colors. I think that's good enough. Yeah, it's brown. And then there's those two metal bits down there. And it's hung up on a wall. Do you know the third, the what? Panda from China. You mean Kung Fu Panda? Third mole with panda. I will say I'm at a loss. I'm not sure what you're talking about. If it is Kung Fu Panda. 3D cereal about a mole in a pan. Then no, I don't know. Wait. A mole in a panda from China. No. No, sorry, not ringing any bells. I remember Sagwa, the Chinese Siamese cat. Hang on a diddly dang minute. What is even... Alright. We need a reference pick. MLP... Big Mac. Please don't show me a McDonald's burger. His name is Big Mac. Or Big Macintosh. And he is the sweetest big old guy. I love him so much. Okay, so I made it a little darker than what it should have been. Okay. I love Big Macintosh so much. He's my favorite character. Well, he's not my favorite character. I say that about every Apple family member. I do love the genius of Big Macintosh's character, because most of the dialogue he says is just, yep, and nope. Like, that's his dialogue. That's about it. So when he finally does speak in full sentences, everyone pays attention. Should I hang it the other way? No, I can hang that way. You know, so... No, don't make that joke. If you know, you know. I'm so glad a lot of my jokes go over people's heads. Because then, if you know, you know. And it's like a, ooh. But if you don't know, well, you'll just have to go find out. It's like, should I have content warnings when I send people on those magical journeys? Of F around and find out? Or should I just let them find out? The mole is from Czechia. Some way we sold it to China. The mole's amazing. I have not heard of this. Huh. Okay. Okay. We are gonna start with some on the different layer. Some of this. I'm gonna make these bricks more red to match the aesthetic of the show, and I'm gonna put them Should I completely render over these, or just enough to make it like a, you know, if I put them like color, or, let's try hue. That's not enough. Just so it's not a copy-pasted photograph. It makes sense when you're not. The China 3D makes sense too, because it didn't get famous because it's so ugly, man. Anytime a show's in 3D, I automatically just don't feel inclined to watch it. I don't know if that makes me a purist when it comes to animation, but I just prefer the way 2D looks. Even though My Little Pony isn't exactly 2D, it is vectored. It still looks better than any 3D model. There's like very few times where I'm like, okay, yes, 3D models, that looks good. But it's because they've added on top of it. Like for K-pop Demon Hunters, that animation, those are 3D models, but they combine aspects of 2D. So it looks good, and the fighting is good, and the impact frames are 2D, and the action is buttery smooth, and it's in the songs and the characters. I could go on and on and on for why that movie is so good. I can't see it otherwise. You know, any other poses I could draw? Well, you are asking the wrong person, man, when it comes to poses, because I have no idea what poses to draw characters in either. I have to go to Pinterest to find different poses to draw my characters in, and then all I end up doing is scrolling on Pinterest for hours. This looks bad now, but stay with it, guys. Trust the process. That's your tactic too? Well, then we're in the same boat. That's why I mostly draw busts of my characters instead of, you know, actual poses. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, hang on. If we just... Now, bear with me, chat. If I just take this color and then just pretend bucket tool. This, that, and the other thing. Then I just put that on overlay. Okay, it's a little bit better. But if we just kind of... There we go. I think if I used, this texture, might be a little bit better. And then turn that down. There we go. Alright, straight line, straight, straight. Can you believe I have an idea to make a mini-series that mostly takes place in a city? When I can't even draw bricks? Oh, I fixed it. Okay. There we go. Now, lighting-wise, I have no idea what we're doing. Just want to merge these down just so I... Not blur, airbrush. There we go. Oh, I kept her eye on a separate layer, that's why. Well, I'm gonna have to erase that constantly. Wait, if I... Okay, that makes it look a little lighter. And then we'll just treat this as a light source. So that means a lot of rim lighting. Ah. Ow. I don't know if any of y'all experienced this. I hope you don't. I get very painful hiccups. And I don't think it's a medical condition because I also sneeze really loud. There it is. Okay, I like it so far. Okay, Picasso, I like it. 88. Let's try what 88 looks like. Let's try what 8. There we go. Okay, not bad. On Applejack, it looks good. But on Rarity, given that she's already white, maybe if I try a blue instead? More blue lighting? Maybe that'll work. Maybe if I... Maybe if I change that to a darker overlay. Okay, yeah. And then I add... Maybe... Okay, now this is just a maybe. Other light. I know this... Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, soft lighting is better. And then I take copy, paste, and that, and then flip. And then we do the same over here. There we go. And erase. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot better. Think you know what to draw? Well, that's great news, Dargoris. I am struggling with this background. just for the sake of consistency, I'm just going to keep the lines going up top here, even though we're probably not gonna even see it. Yeah, I hardly see it at all. You see? Because of the little texture we had overlaid, it just helps us with a little bit of just random little knickknacks. But if I turn off the layer, it's still fine. This just adds a little extra gravel to it that I could do by hand, but that would take me forever. And this is a tool that all artists use. Now this is one, it never comes up in the story, but I kind of want to try putting like little crackles up. No. Thought about it, didn't look good. No. It's only been an hour and a half. Well, stretch break. Well, at least it looks good. Oh, those were my wrists. There's not really much more I want to add to this piece. This one was very simple. It's a very simple piece for a simple story. Simple yet effective. Now, I could get going on the next piece I want to do, which is a Draw This in Your Style challenge being hosted by 4-Leaf Island. That I really want to do, but I think I want to keep that live stream kind of whole. To show my process of how I would do a Do This in Your Style challenge, because it's kind of, because a Do This in Your Style challenge is kind of like fan art in a way, but it's with fan art, especially with My Little Pony, is like how faithful to the source material or like the original style do I want to be, or do I want to go completely off and draw the characters like how I would design them, or like for my AU. Now, for a Draw This in Your Style, it's just like, imagine you were commissioned to draw that character in that pose. Because I don't want to redesign Critters, Sona. I think my cat wants in. 1 second. Oh, okay. Yeah, why are my legs sore? Come on in. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't fill up your food bowl. A little longer wait, guys. I'll be right back. Cat want food. Here you go. My cat's food bowl was empty. I forgot to top it off this morning. And then again, there's a lot of things I forgot. Could this... And chat, I'll let you decide. Could this just be a shorter stream for today because Marble Hornets Rosswood came out and I want to watch that? Or should I do something else? And, like, I'll split the VOD. Because either way, I don't know what that something else could be. I do have sketches not for the fall illustrations, but then I would change the stream title. You should do what you want to. Well, that's the thing! That's why I ask people what they want, because I don't know what I want. I want to go back to bed. But I also don't want to go back to bed, because that's where the intrusive thoughts are. Oh, I need to remember to take a screenshot of all the sketches I do for this Fall Illustrations series. Series? Because on my Tumblr, I want to post all the sketches when it's done. And don't think about anything. Do you have any idea how impossible that is for me? My brain will not shut up. And it gets into these thought spirals, and it just keeps repeating shit. So I was just checking my notifications. Even if I'm watching shit, man, intrusive thoughts. Just, anyway. I don't need friends to wall me up in a cellar. I'll do that myself. Okay, gonna add the branding, and then maybe I will just it'll just be a shorter stream this Monday. Saving up my energy, because for Halloween I want to do something special, because last year's Halloween live stream was like 4 hours long. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do something special this year too. But what? I think she's done. You know what, Dardois, you're right. I will just watch Marble Hornets Rostwood, because I've been a Marble Hornets fan for so frickin' long, and now I'm pissed that I'm late to the party for this one. So yeah, shorter live stream, guys. Maybe I'll draw Marble Hornets fan art. I did once on my DeviantArt. Well, it wasn't really Marble Hornets fan art. It was Everyman Hybrid, but there was a Marble Hornets reference in there. Anyway, I'm gonna go do that. Because it's my live stream, I do what I want. It's my life. I'm an adult. I can go watch cartoons if I want. It's not a cartoon, it's a found footage series, but whatever. Oh, well, if you want to know what Marble Hornets is, it is a long found footage series about Slender Man, or as they called him, the Operator. So yeah, goodbye. I'm gonna go re-traumatize myself and enjoy childhood memories, even though I was an adult when I watched it. I still consider myself a child sometimes. I'm an adult child. Anyway, bye.